Bathurst is home to Australia's greatest motor race. It has also been the scene of some Australian motor racing's most famous crashes. The Mount Panorama circuit is one of the toughest circuits in the world, and there is absolutely no room for error. When a driver does get it wrong, or when a mechanical component on the car fails, at Bathurst, the consequences can be very severe. This program highlights some of the great races' classic crashes from 1963 to 1997. We will all remember the 1969 pile-up on top of the mountain that wiped out half the field. Dick Johnson's Through the Trees crash in 1983, and far too many more to mention. So get set for the ride of your life with classic Bathurst crashes. Okay, let's have a look at the early days. But keep in mind, your road car has better safety equipment these days than these poor blokes.
The spectacular, if intimidating, public road course hosted the first 500 back in 1963. Spectators and television viewers well remember the era of the galloping GT Cortinas, the Super Coopers, the Grunt and Go HOs, and those marvellous Monaros.
There's proof that seatbelts are lifesavers. Driver not hurt. It was caused by a busted wheel, and the passing cars don't seem to be going quite so fast. The prang is a shock for Bellet 32 and a headache for the Mini 44, Harvey Stewart. He wants to get a better view of real trouble. Watch the Viva 58. A frightening sight for Cusack, but believe it or not, no one hurt. Viva la safety belt. Kavanagh quite okay, but puzzled. He's still in there, sorting himself out, but okay. An obstacle for the others and a job for the tow wagon. Since last year, the council has done a good job widening the two bottom corners. You can take them both faster, but they need a new approach line. Brother, he's pushing, but the front runners are going too well. Graceful finale, to say the least. Save trouble if you'd go round the back. Thank you.
A lucky escape on Forest Elbow for the Kennedy Bond Datsun, but they're soon back in the race. There's plenty of action in the pits, and the same goes for Forest Elbow. Track officials rush to the rescue, but fortunately no one's hurt, and the race goes on. One car rolls in front of the field, all but blocking the track. Others, unable to slow, cannon into each other. 4 cars are write-offs and 15 others get a buffeting. The leading 10 cars missed the incident completely, so those front grid positions do pay off. Roberts recaptures 3rd place from Chivers with some attacking driving. But almost immediately after going over Skyline, Roberts' car spins and crashes backwards down a steep slope. Officials and spectators rush down to render assistance, but although the car is a write-off, fortunately Roberts is only dazed. Running in 4th place in the John Newell entry is Bill Brown. At McPhillamy Park, a burst tyre on Brown's car causes the most horrifying crash ever witnessed at Bathurst. Bill tells how it happened.
As I come over the blind approach to McPhillamy Park corner and a speed in excess of 100 miles an hour, a tyre burst on the car, causing it to veer straight ahead into the bank. And I was a bit worried, for the crowd's sake, that the car would sort of jumped the fence and ended up in amongst the people. There was just crashing and glass breaking and banging and carrying on. When the car finally came to rest, I was still conscious, and spectators ran over and they started to tip the car up. And I yelled out to them to stop, smell petrol, and I asked if anyone's smoking, would they kindly leave. By this time the crash truck had arrived and I knew everything was all right. Myself, I felt one of my legs was caught. I didn't know what was going on there because at the time the back of the seat had broken and I was laying down flat in the car, luckily for me. And I suppose I've been there for 5 or 6 minutes and they finally got me out. I had a look at the car and then I went to Bathurst Hospital.
Fortunately, Brown's injuries were only of a minor nature. At Forest Elbow, Leo Gagan and Doug Whitefoot brush with spectacular results.
Look at Bondi.
And he's gone.
Bondi's gone. Look. Oh, look, he's gone.
Bond crashed at Reed Park.
Stand by, Studio D. We'll have a replay of this crash. Stand by.
Now, here's the replay. Look, he just seems to understeer straight off the track. Could be the wind. Hits the barrier. Goes onto his roof. Slides across the track. Rolls back on his wheels. It looks as though he hits a drain or an obstruction of some kind because he goes again. This is a bad one. That could be an end for end. I think he must have hit a patch of wood. And look, he's gone. Gibson's
Hey,
wrong.
look, he's still going. Hey, look, that car's just missed him.
That was a fearful accident. The Falcon took a real hammering, but Gibson stayed with the car, and his harness should have saved him from any injury. Yes, there he is. He's all right. You'll notice how the roll cage protects him.
That's great. Stand by, Studio D. Let's see a
First
replay
one
in slow
now,
motion.
Gibson.
Thank you.
Two drivers
Roll
out.
it when you're ready.
You'll notice that he's all by himself,
There we go.
which means he simply had a lose. That no one pushed him.
What's this, Frank?
The car rolls side to side, and right at the finish, he's completely upside down and hanging in midair.
Look, right on the top. Front.
Bathurst is not the place to be when it rains.
Cotto's car has got some very heavy damage to the front, and here's the reason why the pace car's out.
Is the reason up on the top part of the mountain?
Yes, one of the Toyotas, car number 91, that's the Faulkner entry.
I think it's both of the Toyotas,
Is it?
actually, Wilcap.
Yeah, he's got one wheel that's virtually right off.
That's the 24 car, the Bajan Bauquet car in the background, the 91 Toyota, and there's another car here about to get collected.
Oh, that's the
goodness me.
Brabham Fangio car.
Yep.
That's going to stop it completely. Even the pace car won't. Oh, yes, it will.
There's room for it to get through. So long as there's room, the pace car will stay out. That's why the pace car's here, so a race can still continue, albeit under controlled conditions.
Still can't identify the car on the right-hand side of the circuit, the third of the cars involved in the major part of this incident. The Fangio car you saw also was involved there on the way through, but it's still moving, pushing the Bauquet car off the infield now. Chicotto wending his way slowly. Look at the front left wheel. The flags are out, the pace car is out.
And not only that, Klaus Ludwig, who's just leaving the pits now, is going to be held at the pit exit, and he's going to lose a lap on the lead car.
Now we've got some replays coming up for you that will help to explain the sequence of events here. Let's have a look.
Oh, what a feeling. Toyota replay. That's the first of the Toyotas.
Looks like 91.
Bang, there's the next one, straight at it.
Car
Torn
90.
the wheel off. Next one,
Bauquet.
bang. Bauquet, maybe oil on the road up there. He's trying to steer the thing. The wheel has run off the other Toyota, and Bauquet at this stage gets the shimmies on and props at the top of the hill. Another Toyota replay for you as they come up over the top of West End Bend. Boom! Whoop.
That was the Chicotto car.
That was Johnny Chicotto.
The pace car is now on the racetrack. The wreckers are already on the spot to try and clean up the mess of the two Toyotas. Here's another replay. This, of course, was the other BM trying to squeeze through. Wait for this. Akihito Nakaya was trying to get through. Brakes on. Oh, what a feeling. And it doesn't seem right that that's the Toyota replay, because they were doing so brilliantly in their class.
Most of our cameras all ISO. This looks like Denny Holm coming down. He's got a wheel out on the grass. He's aquaplaned, you see, in the wet.
He's offline and...
He's clouded the wall there, and it's brought him across the racetrack.
Now, that doesn't look that dramatic, but you see what's happened is he's flicked his head sideways. You've got that support behind your head, but you haven't got the lateral support, and it's obviously damaged his neck in some way.
And there is Denny pulling the car up. Pace car still out on the circuit at the moment. The two vehicles involved in this incident on the approach to Caltex Chase, John English and Ed Lamont. Let's have a look what happens. Here is the Hopwood car coming up. It's going to pull out and has drilled the Commodore right in the rear, and you can see what has happened. He's put himself around, and there goes the Commodore. He's trying to bring it back under control. He'll hit the wall on the right. Oh! And then straight across to the left, and how on earth he has just missed. In Mazda Forest Elbow, car number 3, the Lansvale Smash Repairs Commodore, driven by Ashby and Reed.
Trevor Ashby was at the wheel.
And they were running 15th, but they've gone straight ahead and not taken the left-hand turn. They've gone out into the grassy area there and banged into the tyre wall.
That's Trevor Ashby, you can see standing above the wall there, helmet in hand. Pace car is on the track as it had to be until they can clear this out of that corner. So this is the 4th time.
We might have a look at the replay now, Gary, and see exactly what happened. Oops, I know what's happening. Straight under the camera, and he's gone straight into the wall. Well, as soon as he got off the blacktop, and I think it locked up, there was nothing there. There he goes, straight into the tyre wall, just at Mazda Forest Elbow. The GIO car was in 5th position, stopped on the side of the road. They've been able to fire it up, and they're heading back to the pits.
Blowing a lot of smoke when it pulled up, and not blowing any smoke now.
And some damage to the front right as well.
Is that had it coming together with a Sierra?
Who was that he came together with? One of the Sierras.
Ken Matthews.
Ken Matthews.
Yeah.
Here we have the replay. Watch this. There's Ken Matthews around. He gets hooked up with the GIO car, and there was the mobile Commodore up on the inside.
Pissed out the window.
Oh, Gibbsy was anything but impressed about that.
There's the tyre drama.
That started off the tyre drama, as Doug said, coming down beneath the GIO bridge. They've got it into the pits now. The
76 it is. One of the Corolla, the 1600cc cars, Calvin Gardner, Jeff Forshaw, Mike Conway. I couldn't quite see which of them was in the car, but he's out, he's okay. We can see that much.
Well, he's just okay. Oh, no, Jimmy Richards has hit the wall.
Well, Richo, of course, stuck on slicks and no traction at all, even for a 4-wheel drive Nissan.
Well, here's Crompton's chance to be the ultimate hero.
That car is not going anywhere else but the pits this afternoon. The rain is now hitting the commentary booth so hard, you can hear it.
I would expect we might see a red flag. I can see them stopping this race.
Yeah.
Yes.
They must stop the race.
This is it. This will be the end. The red flag will be out before we finish our next sentence, I would say.
Well, now, if that happens, what they usually do is backdate the race by a lap or so, which could well see Jimmy Richards and Mark Scaife still taking victory.
Listen to the crowd. The top of the hill. This is the kind of send-off, and I don't want to...
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I don't want to be unkind to Winfield and the Nissan team, but the punters at the top of the hill, this is the kind of send-off they wanted to see for the Nissans.
Well, the Nissans got in. Jim went in gingerly, but he was trying to wipe off speed Fred Gibson.
If they don't stop the race, there won't be any cars left to complete it anyway.
Oh, it stopped. I mean, you know, I mean, officially maybe not, but this is it. This is the end of it. There's no doubt about that. 144 laps gone, and we will not see 145. I mean, I can't believe that we will. Red flag is out.
Oh no! Just get out of that. Marshall will get hit if he doesn't get over the fence.
Red flag is out. The race is over.
This is what happened on the exit to Forest Elbow. Brian Callahan, Barry Graham, the 39 car, spinning. Then triggered off is the Toyota Corolla.
That's Bates and Bates, I think, in the Daily Planet car.
And that, of course, Andrew Harris with the brakes on. Driver very quickly out of that. That was young Brian Callahan. Here's the 76 car. that hit the wall, got into the wash. Now, he was quite okay. That is quite a connection with the concrete wall.
It is. It's a testimony to the way the car is built, actually, that you see the driver get out of it without a problem.
Boy, and as you can see, climbing out. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, his leg against the roll bar.
Very, very lucky boy indeed. And, of course, heading up to the top of the mountain, the flagship, I believe this was Neil Crompton, as the Johnson car came across the front of it.
No, that's the Jim Richards car.
It was the Jim Richards car.
So it was between there and here that the damage was done. He's actually done it over the top at Skyline somewhere.
So here he comes down through the dipper, riding it all the way down through here, just limping back to the pits, wondering what on earth Fred Gibson would be thinking about all that. Marshall's probably just couldn't believe it as he aquaplanes down through here on the way to Forest Elbow.
Not realising, of course, that the red flag had been displayed earlier and that his first position was assured.
Now he comes out of the corner. As I pointed out earlier, there's a kink to the left here, so Jim probably just goes to guide the car just a little to the left. There. The back of the car now breaks away. And Jim is chasing it. There's not a thing he can do. He's full on the brakes, tail into the wall, brings the front around, and he's on his way into the back of Andrew Harris's car. So exit Jimmy Richards.
And now the class leader.
The Toyota Corolla goes in there, and the rest of the field able to get by there on the inside. Here's another angle of the Toyota. Look at the Marshalls jumping back over the fence here. And he joins the party down there as well.
Now there's plenty of action out on the track in these conditions, as you can imagine. And here's the Richards father and son combo.
Car 4 giving them a tap under brakes. It's taken them both off. They're heading off into the sand trap out there. I think that's the second car 4, the Scott car.
Car 62 is off the track. So's 47. They came together whilst they were in procession.
That was extraordinary. That
behind the safety car.
That was on the slowdown. Let's look at that on the replay. Alan Moffat was just pointing out the damage on the front of his Falcon there, just coming in the bottom of the screen. Now look at that. There's a collision.
Daily
Wayne
Planet
Russell,
car, yeah.
John Trimble in the Daily Planet Falcon. Another one's gone off to the other side.
They've been speeding on Conrod, and they've arrived at the scene of the tow truck, and the cars in front have slowed down premature. Look at that, poor John. He's put so much effort into this car.
When it's hot at Bathurst, it's hot. Just ask our last Formula One champion, Alan Jones.
Whoa, that's Alan Jones.
Alan Jones, the car's on fire, stopped in the middle of the circuit.
Goodness me, Alan Jones.
Well,
the race leader.
That one is going to be in bad shape.
Now they're going to have to get a hell of a lot more extinguishers down there to get that one under
that
control.
fellow isn't going around the other side, and I don't blame him. He doesn't want to get onto the track.
Especially the smoking.
He's not. The extinguisher is not doing the job. That is going to really get moving. If he doesn't get around behind the tire, now he's just.
No,
he's not going to do it.
He's got to get out of there.
He better walk away from it.
Yeah,
that's going to be a dangerous situation shortly.
A Conrod straight. I don't know what's happened, but the car is ablaze. 301, the pack leader, Falcon.
No, I think that's on the approach to the cutting, actually, Gary.
It's on the way up to the cutting, sorry.
Under bonnet heat, Gary, is so immense in these cars.
You can see, from the commentary box, we can see the plume of smoke coming up through the trees. There's the pack leader team. Ross Stone absolutely shattered. Look at the fire. That is getting hold of that car big time. That is going to be a burnout very, very quickly.
I think the Marshal could be a little braver. The car will never blow up with the fuel cells safe and secure in the back. They need to address it.
Well,
looks like they've got it out.
There's no flame there, but
the heat under the bonnet on these cars is immense. This
Alan
could have.
Grice absolutely shattered. You saw the look on Ross Stone's face, leading the race 25 laps. And look how it's ended up for pack leader racing. Unbelievable.
That is actually the second car that Alan Jones has been driving and it's caught fire. There's one at Lakeside a couple of years ago, Glenn Seaton.
I was just thinking of that before at Lakeside. One of the Peter Jackson Falcons, Jones was driving in a touring car round. That one burst into flames. Jones got out of that in a hurry, but this is a very different situation. Let's have a look at this on replay. Jones just slowing as he came up the shelf. Bit of a
electrical problem, I would say, obviously, has caused the car to virtually come to a halt, and I don't know what has actually caused the ignition.
When he's tried to restart it, you saw the puff come out of the exhaust pipe and that lit up. He may have had a fuel pump failure or some fuel line failure, and when he's tried to restart it, it's caught fire with the fumes that must have been in the car.
Well, additional fire marshals are on the scene now, but I've got to say that lone marshal was a very brave man and did a hell of a job to get that under control. Oh, yeah. Stephen Richards after the good work. And he's got a fire there too.
Here we go again on the trying to restart it. The best thing you can do now is hit the starter motor and push some air through the engine, and it'll blow that flame out.
Well, he's taken your advice. He's done that. He's still sitting in a very dicey position, having just managed a brilliant passing manoeuvre coming out of Forest Elbow to get past John Bow into third position. Jim Richards, concern showing on his face, hasn't had a turn behind the wheel of this car today. There's the fire again.
He lost it coming out of the S's and right under the Bridgestone Bridge, and boy, lucky to get it. Very good move to get it going. Come in, he can cut across the track. He's right at the start of the pit entrance, so
they can get away without losing too much time here.
Boy,
he was so. Oh, he's given the wall a decent nudge with the rear end.
John Faulkner was lucky not to copy him.
Let's see it again in replay from Dunlop Race Cam aboard the John Bow 17 Shell FAI Falcon. Richards goes right in front of him. Bow's heart is in his mouth. He slides to the left. Leave me out of this, he says. Go away.
And look at John glancing to the right. He doesn't even care where his Falcon's going. He's watching that Commodore out of shape. Yes, he's had terminal problem. The oil cooler's at the back.
The classic hits just keep on coming.
Goodness gracious me, Katayama flipping the car side over side at the end of Conrod Straight, so he's had a big problem. A very, very dramatic end to the race for little Japanese driver Katayama. That looks bad at home as we watch the replay, very dramatically caught on our video disc. Can you imagine what would have happened if the sand trap hadn't been there? He would have gone probably head first. He's a very lucky man to be able to walk straight back to the pits.
He certainly is, Mike. That's a most spectacular accident. We've been luckily fairly accident-free.
Oh, he's gone. He's gone. Kevin Bartlett. Oh, it's over. Bartlett has gone. He's got Dick Johnson maybe into him. No, Dick got out of the way. But the back tyre is off. The back tyre is off Kevin Bartlett's car. He went wide. I think the tyre came off at the start. Slid into the bank, and a very slow and lazy roll across the track. A marshal is there to try and get Ken out. He's okay. Kevin Bartlett, another wretched year for him. He's looking to see the tyre, saying, what caused it? That's it. That's what caused it, he says. Damn. He's happy. Oh, just watching the BMW. Is that Jim Richards, the BMW? But maybe 41. There's a fire underneath. There is fire there. You can see it there. He was squeezed out to give room for car. No, it's 41. It's Denny Helm or Stephen Brook. One of the. I think by the slimmer figure, it's probably Stephen Brook. I think. Yes, it is Stephen Brook. Oh, one got one.
Oh, it's car 38. Appropriately, it's Bernie Stack.
He's had a good one.
Oh, no.
Oh, the car's gone.
After passing the car, and it spun at the top of the mountain coming down, just clips the wall. That is not a good place to be if anyone was travelling very, very close to him at the time. So Peter Jansen has taken over from David Parsons. Has lasted only half a lap. This has been a fabulous race.
It's hard to do as well. Look at that.
Oh, he's got him sideways! Oh!
No, I don't believe he touched him.
No,
I don't believe he did touch him.
Wasn't much in it. And I'll tell you what, the 17 car, Johnson and Bow, whether or not, yes, there was a touch, was mild. But the two of them are running bumper to bumper, and they've run that close for so long, there'd be nothing deliberate in that.
No, I don't believe so.
Here's a competition, but you guessed it, there's no prizes.
A cheery and sincere commentators welcome to 7 Sports Classic Crashes, 9 of motor racing's major moments on the mountain. Crash A is the Vauxhall Viva from the race of 67. A lot of prestige for a driver being included in our Classic Crashes segment. This character was so keen to be Crash A, he even had a big A painted on his door. He said, I want the big A, and he got it. Crash B, the unforgettable side of Dickie Johnson, carving out a Falcon-sized shortcut to Lithgow, right through the mulga. Here it is again. Dickie Johnson doing so much damage to the forest that year that Sting later wrote a song about it. Crash C features the Japanese driver Katayama, who came out here for the race in 67. Ooh, very nasty. Still, the medicos were quickly on the spot for this one and even managed to get the bandages on without removing his helmet. Kevin Bartlett featured in Crash D. Kevin's always given the punters great entertainment and pointed out to the crowd quite quickly the same thing my father pointed out to me on entering puberty. Never trust rubber. Quite a promotional coup for Kevin in this race, managing sponsorship not only from Channel 9 in Sydney, but also from Channel 6 in Hobart. Crash E involved just about everyone, but mostly Scott Tom Walkinshaw, who won the race in a Jaguar in 1985, but didn't fare nearly so well here in 84. In fact, he never got off the line, finished before he started. Motor racing's answer to premature ejaculation, really. Poor old John Goss, who owned the car, was so upset by the crash, he was speechless. The only positive aspect of the whole incident. Crash F is Bill Brown's spectacular rollover from the great race of 1971. Brown was a lucky man to survive this one. In fact, he was so glad to be alive, he donated his driving suit to the Mount Panorama Museum. Although the sign on the suit doesn't read Bill Brown's driving suit, it actually reads Bill's Brown driving suit. Yes. Crash G should gladden the hearts of RSL members all over the country. Germany's finest, getting all sideways before a crowd-pleasing headplant in the dirt at McPhillamy Park. As a Jaguar lover, certainly my favourite stack in the pack, but a sorry sight for lovers of the three-pointed star. And let's face it, a lot of people really dig Mercs. Take Phil Ward, for example. Now, Phil, don't be like that. Incident H features the immortal 05 car, an Australian motor racing legend. Not a vehicle that we'd expect to see in an accident, not in the hands of Peter Perfect. Let's see it from another angle now. And in fairness, point out that it's actually co-driver Andy Rouse at the wheel, not Brocky. Brocky was actually back in the pits picking out a new co-driver for next year. Our final classic crash, Crash I, involves the Cabbage Commodore. You'll notice the plume of smoke billowing out behind. That's a blown engine and an expensive incident for a largely unsponsored privateer. Still, he's had the presence of mind to park well off the circuit there and out of harm's way. Oh dear. Mr. K, it's not your day. Well, that's it. Classic crashes A to I. Now just put them into alphabetical order and prove the critics of the Australian education system wrong.
Sometimes it's just hard to get off the starting line. Just ask Sir Jack Brabham.
Oh no!
And on the grid, Jack Brabham has been rammed in the tail. The driver of the Dolomite seems to have hurt his neck, 35. And there's a spin there. You can see one of the Capris facing end on, and he has got it, Mazda, right up the nose. Goodness me, all sorts of dramas. The big one, of course, affecting Jack Brabham, but Laurie Nelson got hit head on there. That's the back of Brabham's car. Goodness me. Got slammed in the back there.
Down goes the flag, and the 1984 James Hardy 1000 is underway, and it is George Fury, Peter Brock, and Alan Grice running up. We've had a praying. Steve Masterton's got in. Tom Walkinshaw is stalled there on the starting line. The rest of the field passing him by. He's been collected by a Camaro. Peter Williamson has also gone into the side of his car, and we have the track blocked across the main straightaway. So we've had a very, very big accident here at the start of the race.
Even the big boys get it wrong at times. Brock.
No, that's Brocky, isn't it? That's Brocky.
It's Brock.
It's Brock. It's Brocky. There's the man, and he's out of the car. The car is a non-finisher.
What has happened there? Let's look at it on the replay. There's Brock. He's running wide. He's getting sideways. Dear, oh dear, he's heading toward the concrete wall from here. What has happened there? Massive loose. He's probably doing about 170 kilometres an hour there. Oh. And crunch. That is a big impact. A huge impact. As Brock loses it coming through Castrol Curve on the run up toward McPhillamy. And that certainly raises the question.
He's all
These
right,
guys going through without a brake pad change. I wonder if the brakes are a bit suspect. You wouldn't know, but boy, there he is.
And there's the reaction of Beverly Brock, who just can't believe what's happened, and Kieran Perkins sitting there.
Let's watch this again, Doug.
There he goes.
This is at race speed.
Oh.
Peter Brock wasn't planning on a pit stop. In the next lap or so, he might have to come in for one in the mobile Commodore, car number 05. We'll show you an incident that happened at Mazda Forest Elbow. Car 18 as well having a problem. That's the Greek Crick, Terry Shield. And they were able to be missed by the second of the mobile Commodores. We'll show you that as soon as we have the incident. But here's what happened. There's Brocky coming up, and the second Win Percy Alan Grice car, number 16, stopped to avoid contact. How close was that?
I think that Alan Grice should have a word to him. He might be elected to Parliament, but he's not elected the most popular driver on the racing track, I can tell you.
Johnson.
In 1983, Dick Johnson caught the exit tyres while qualifying and went off in spectacular circumstances. His car was a write-off.
Oh!
How can you have a lose halfway down Conrod? It's the number 17 car. It's Johnson at the wheel. He's tapped the fence. And John Bow goes through, looks over his shoulder, can't imagine what's happened. There must be a huge problem with the rear end of the car. He's had a lose at 260 kilometres an hour. His pit was ready for him.
And he's been able to get it underway again.
He's had a puncture.
Before he went off the racetrack, he was 7.8, almost 8 seconds clear of Tony Longhurst. All of that has now evaporated.
That's the second Sierra in a couple of days to explode tyres at high speed, because it was Steve Soper who came undone yesterday in the Oxo car. Let's have a look at our Caltex replay from another angle from Seven's chopper. Here's Dick Johnson at full tilt down Conrod Straight on the extreme left-hand side of the road. The car gets all unstable, he tries to catch it, then it gets onto the grass, and once you get on the grass down there, you are history. Oh, I tell you what, he's got out of that pretty lightly, all things considered.
That's the best save of today at Mount
You reckon
Panorama.
that's not the ride of your life?
That is the ultimate ride. 17 Dick Johnson, halfway down Conrod Straight, and here he comes into the pits.
And probably one of the most famous crashes never captured by the cameras, The Rock.
Earlier troubles with his...
Oh, we've had another bang, and there's at the race.
That's the leader. Dick Johnson. Now, whether Dick has been hampered by the rescue truck here, which is out on the track, but he has gone into the fence. Dick
Of
Johnson,
course,
the leader.
this is the aftermath of the famous Rock Johnson incident. Unthinkable as it may have once been, the V8 icons of the 70s, Peter Brock and Alan Moffat, joined forces in a Works Commodore in '86. This Mount Panorama partnership was touring cars' dream team, but only produced nightmares for ex-Falcon hero Alan Moffat.
Friday afternoon, Friday morning, and a Commodore got a right rear wheel into the dirt, getting my mind off the job. She dug in, turned left instantly, and I hit the wall. Pretty frightful. I thought I was going over the wall, actually. But as it slid down and came to a halt, all I realized was that I damaged the car.
Perkins.
Let's have a look on our Toyota replay of an incident that occurred up here. Larry Perkins.
And I think that's the number 18 Ford Sierra.
The replay is all important when televising Bathurst. Let's have a look at some of the classic replays.
Out of Alan Grice's car coming down. Whoops. There is smoke and dust. And there's Steve Masterton, by the look of it, going off the course and crash, and almost getting Grice on the way back. Coming down, there's English, the last car on screen. Uh-oh, he's got into the side of the Clearahan Mazda RX-7. Clearahan's heading out to the wall. He decides he's turning the other way. Oh, my goodness me.
Lumps of concrete flying everywhere. Knocked a big hole in the wall.
Who we caught early on our Toyota replay. This is the lusty Commodore getting out of shape, and her crunch. Up she goes. Down it comes. It has not been the week for the lusties. On our Toyota replay for you, this incident at the top of the hill with one of the BMWs, number 42. Johnny Cicotto having an anxious moment as he tapped a slower car. And only seconds ago, Lucio Cesario in the number 57 Caltex Alpha has gone off in the S's. The car was running 38th in the field. Let's have a look at the replay, courtesy of Toyota, and you can see exactly what happened.
Oh, launched it.
Straight through the curb, missed it completely, creases it twice against the concrete wall.
How did the Merc get in the sand? Whoops, he's got it loose.
Oh, Wardy's really out of shape here.
Oops, almost, yes.
Almost, she went right over. Phil Ward.
Oh, this is Seaton.
Yeah, that's the oil that's done that.
Oh, there's the tyre barrier that we heard was out across the road. Seaton has slammed it. The oil was left there by Brancatelli. So when the wheel's torn loose, it's done damage under the front of Brancatelli's car. He's dropped oil on the track. Seaton's copped it as he came over the top.
Let's have a look at this. The feeling this is the Kevin Waldock car. Yes, spinning it, coming over the top of Skyline. And how close was that for the 20 car? Ooh, parked it right out in front. It's the Tony Longhurst number 20 car. And also the Nissan now going around the outside. Kevin Waldock, Brian Thompson car. that is not the place to park. One that, according to our Prima Holidays replay, had little less... 57.
That's the car that was running third in the class at the time.
He's had a straight ahead there, but he's missed the concrete and the start of the wall out of there. Give him a holiday replay for you here. It's the Lusties. They've been bunkered in the rough by the look of it. That's real barbecue material there. Here's our camera sitting on the wall. Pow, it just never made the turn. The car has gone straight ahead, airborne, hit the wall, and has bounced back onto the racetrack. And what is that? The pace car is back on the racetrack. Looks like the product car has gone into the wall, or the tyre wall at the top of the mountain. Let's have a look at this with our Prima Holiday replay. 33. Oh, dearie me. He's launched that. That's the Pearson Stewart car. Bob Pearson.
Bruce Stewart.
And veteran Bruce Stewart, who's been here for a number of years.
What a shame.
And that has really tweaked the front and the rear of the car. Tim and Alf Grant, one more spot. Well, that's shades of last year, isn't that bad? Like Dave Barrow. He's clouded that on the wall, hasn't turned. And now the 43 car, straight off into the sand trap.
Goodness me. These two cars had a heck of a day.
A dab on the brakes coming into the corner. Goes in tight, but then the car...
Oh, he got a nudge. Oh, that's Wayne, unfortunately, who's given Crick the flick.
An anxious moment here, the 17 car, right in front of it. We'll have a look at what happened to the Russell car.
Holy smoke.
Gee whiz. This is what happened, miscued. Got the concrete wall, rode up the wall. It's young Ryan McLeod. Car number 60 was in position number 22. Dad Peter McLeod. And the NZ fuel connectors Commodore. Take our replay, and he's got it side off.
Just dug in on him. He wasn't fast enough with the correction there, I'm afraid. And
well, he's he's got out in the grass there. He had a little agricultural approach here to Repco.
He has had a huge accident there.
And the Attard car has come up on the inside. He's sort of tracking across to the right.
Making sure he gets out of the way.
Gee, I wonder what happened there. Must have been you would imagine, a mechanical failure.
And then all of a sudden, you know what's going to happen here, don't you?
Wango, another concrete wall. Let's have a look at this as... now what the hell happened there? He didn't hit anything. The back of the car just went away from him. Tyre power turn at Forest Elbow. Looks like car 44.
Yep, that's the Melrose Terry Shield Commodore.
This is the Fairfax Community Newspaper's entry. He's kissed both walls, one in, one out. Coming into the cutting. There's the wheel. The Laguna has just hit the wall. He's had a brake lock up.
Well, we've unjustly accused Jan Nielsen. He just missed what he could do.
They're on 146.
Here's how it happened on race cam. Past goes Brabham. I thought there might have been a touch there. Now, what happens from here? Brabham turns in.
Left-hander, all right, hasn't hit anything. And up come on the inside, the Audi has a dart into the inside.
There it is.
David didn't see him coming, and whammo. Fairly cheeky move there on the part of the Belgian, but don't believe David Brabham was expecting that.
What's that old saying? When you're in the pits.
What the devil's going on there?
He's had some extraordinary sort of bump there. He's been hit in the back, and it has deflected or changed the shape of the boot. And they can't open the bonnet to get the fuel in. Now, here's the man leading the index, and they can't refuel the car.
Oh, the car's on fire.
Oh, look at Alan Moffat.
The car's on fire. Alan trying to put the fire out himself with the towel that he was using earlier.
Been a flag given to Peter Brock by the clerk, of course, to say that he must report to the pits, because if you remove your windscreen in Australian touring car racing, you must remove the rear window as well.
Yes, here he is going flat out.
He's taking the pit lane.
Down the curbs.
Watch the team go to work. This is where he takes on some passengers just for a moment.
Boom.
Boom. Goodbye, Pete.
Marty Watt dived into the back seat, kicked it out with his feet, and I, of course, dropped the clutch. And Marty just nearly came for the hottest lap of Bathurst he'd ever seen.
Let's have a bit of a recap and look at why this track rates as one of the toughest and most unforgiving tracks in the world.
The mountain course is 6.172 kilometres in length and 830 metres above sea level. From the start line to the top of the mount, the road rises 200 metres, while the fastest strip of bitumen is Conrod Straight, 1.86 kilometres in length, and the V12 Jaguars should today top 280 kilometres an hour. Safety standards at the circuit have been upgraded each year, but the mountain remains the master, and it disciplines harshly those who treat it lightly. Sections of the track still haunt some drivers today. Memories are fresh of last year's race start, which saw Tom Walkinshaw fail to get off the line. Amidst the dust, he was collected by John Tesserero's Camaro and Peter Williamson's Toyota Supra. A year earlier, the approach to Reed Park claimed Kevin Bartlett's 9 Camaro after it popped a tyre and turret-tested the tortured tarmac. The left-hand sweep to Skyline was the trouble spot during the 1981 event. A touch between the Fords of Bob Morris and Christine Gibson produced sufficient congestion to in fact stop the race. Even more dramatic was the S's encounter back in 1969 on the opening lap. Two V8s brushed and triggered off a modern-day automobile Armageddon. Apart from a few bruises and severe eye strain from glancing in the rear vision mirrors, those involved either soldiered on or walked away cursing. Conrod Straight is the easy part of the circuit, but the approach shot from Forrest's elbow has to be precise. In 1983, Dick Johnson caught the exit tyres while qualifying and went off in spectacular circumstances. His car was a write-off. Mount Panorama is tough on brakes, and Murray's Corner at the end of Conrod Straight will quickly detect any flaw. Japanese Mazda maestro Katayama will attest to this fact after his wild entry to the turn in 1977. Australia's internationally acclaimed public road racetrack has been called everything from terrifying to exhilarating, but the experts agree its character should never be changed.
And to finish up, let's have a look at the crashes that stopped the great race.
We have an enormous traffic jam. We've had a horrendous crash at the top of the mountain. By the look of it, Bobby Morrison, number 7 is around sideways, 57 is there, one of the Recar team cars. We have an absolute blocked track at the top of the mountain.
Damage at all. There's the view from Alan Grice's car. He's there, car 44. He's just stopped. He's not in damage, but there are a number of cars. Bob Morris's car is there. Bob Morris going so hard trying to get up the lead in second place.
The track is completely blocked. A replay of it for you.
Well, Christine Cole is involved. She was very early there. You can see Christine on the left. Bob Morris came along. He spun there, the car going backwards. Christine was involved first with another car. There are cars on the other side. Alan Brown. The track is completely blocked. We have Alan Grice in car 44 talking there.
No worries, mate. How's your leg, all right?
Huh?
How's your leg?
I think I broke something in the hip.
KB's okay. He said he's bruised his hip on the hip brace in his car. He's okay. It doesn't appear to me as though anybody else is damaged. When I arrived on the scene, there wasn't a great deal of activity trying to get people out of motor cars, so I can only assume that they've all safely got out.
With the decision on the fate of the race from the Australian Racing Drivers Club, Ivan Stibbard.
And the regulations say that after 60% of the distance has been covered and the red flag is used, the race must be declared. We cannot have a restart.